ladies and gentlemen, bass players around the world, Detroit bass players, Detroit upright bass players, Detroit double bass players, Detroit bass fiddle bass players. Oh wow, man! Wow, this is awesome, man. And that was awesome. And why don't you tell us your name, sir?
My name is Robert Hurst from Detroit.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the basement, Rob. How you doing, man?
I'm wonderful. It's such a pleasure to be here amongst such esteemed company.
Again, welcome to the basement. That's BASSMINT. Hanging out over Reggie Canty's house. Reggie just ran upstairs to go answer that phone. I told you, I insist that you don't cut your phone off. It might be an important phone call. We can always
give it all these bass players.
Exactly. we can always pause this. You know what I'm saying? Joining us. You know what? I never noticed how tight it was in this basement until you guys brought all these uprights. So I'm gonna start with our guest that's in the house with us on my that way, the right. We got none other than our gracious host, Mr. Reginald Canty. What's up, man?
Thank you very much. Thank you guys. This is monumental. This is a monumental thing that's happening. I appreciate every last one of you for taking the time to come out here and be here today. I appreciate it more than
it's our pleasure.
More than you can know, man. For real. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. And next to him is a in the basement alumni. Tell us your name, sir.
Mr. Earl R. Davis.
Earl Davis. You know, he's been in the basement with us. I actually had the pleasure of being on his show, his Max Proud channel. Yeah. This dude, y'all need to check it out. This dude, what he does is he talks about different bass products, bass life. Check it out, the Max Proud channel, man. This dude got mad subscribers, man, and mad hits. I'm gonna start hanging around with him a little so that'll rub off on me. Yeah. And next to him is another alumni. Tell us your name, sir.
Bruce Sagababian.
A Detroit bass player, just like Earl. And you play upright sometimes, huh?
No, only electric. That's it.
Okay, well, at least you play in the theater. How about that?
Yeah, I do the theater.
All right, that's good enough.
Okay.
And then next to him is a legendary upright bass player. Tell us your name, sir.
Dan Pliskow.
Yeah.
It's a humbling feeling sitting here with all you people.
Right, this guy's been doing this for a long time, man. Can we get an interview with you? Can we put you in that hot seat here shortly?
Sure, I'd love to do that with you.
All right, awesome. And now heading to my other left, sitting next to Bob. Tell us your name, sir.
I'm Rick Robinson, Mr. Cut Time.
I don't know what that means, but that's
Another awesome upright player that we're going to have to do an interview with you too, right, if that's okay.
Sure, man.
All right, and continuing to my left, we have another dude on the upright. Tell us your name, sir.
Jerry Cameron.
I heard you flew in on 4 wheels.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Yeah, I came down from Traverse City area.
Really? And where's Traverse City? North?
It's up north, about 250 miles up there.
Well, thanks for coming out and hanging out with us.
Originally a Detroit bass player.
Yeah, well, if you're in Michigan, if you can say Detroit, you're Detroit. Don't say Detroit, or I know you're not from here.
Don't say Detroit.
Yeah.
I know it's originally French.
Yeah, that's right. It ain't no more.
It ain't no more.
Probably move on, say.
We also have We also have another upright player. Tell us your name, sir.
Jonathon Muir-Cotton.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Welcome to the basement.
Yeah.
Both of you guys, man. Wow. I'm gonna try to squeeze you guys in. If not, y'all got to come back and let me get an interview with you guys.
These are the guys right here.
Okay.
These are the guys.
And we also have sitting with us. Tell us your name.
Julianne, you're a mom extraordinaire.
Good.
I'm a 16-year-old Jonathan.
Right.
Okay.
And that's no excuse. Where's your upright?
My current instrument is right here, my voice. So he's the bass player.
Okay, that's awesome. All right, now, Mr. Robert Hurst, man. Man, I got a ton of questions to ask for you. And if anybody else have any questions, feel free to chime in at any time. What is that you have in your hands there?
It's a bass. This is actually my second bass. My first bass is in extreme disrepair right now. Let's just have a moment of silence.
Yes. Sitting with Gary Ritter, isn't it?
Gary, I have one with him.
Oh.
This is like a horrible time.
Really?
This is a good story about this bass. I remember, and I have another bass that's in Chicago that got damaged by a freight company. But when I moved to LA, I was doing this TV show, and during the weekends we would play. I was playing with Branford Marcellus, and I had 2 weekends in a row. I had 2 basses that were nice basses. One was a Hawks, and another one was a new bass, but it was really, really good. My first good bass, and 2 consecutive weekends they got destroyed by the airline. Wow. And each one, on 2 different gigs. One was and then I went to Stein on Vine in LA, and I saw this bass, and I wanted a cheaper bass. I was like, man, I'm not taking my bass on the road. No way, no way. And I found this bass, and I used this bass when I was doing the Tonight Show most of the time on that show. I just leave it there.
I knew I recognized it. Yeah.
Okay, now it's interesting that you call it a bass, but as I said earlier, I was like going through upright, double, bass fiddle. What is it actually called? Anybody can chime in on this. What is the official name for the thing?
Contrabass.
Contrabass.
As far as I
All
know.
good. I'd go with upright bass. I mean, it kind of depends on the context, how you're using it.
Yes.
In the orchestra, we call it the double bass because we're
Right,
doubling the
right.
bass line with the cellos.
Okay.
Well, I thought he was saying, what is the official name?
Official.
And to me, it was
Yeah,
always
one
contrabass.
official.
Well, it's good to
I know.
it's good to know what each one of them means. So double bass is actually from
The
doubling.
classical world, yeah.
Yeah, doubling the cello line.
Yeah.
Okay, and upright is because it's sitting up there
Upright.
6'5",
I think that
65.
was probably since electric bass came into existence, and they wanted to make the distinction.
Right.
this is the
Upright, yeah.
I've heard bass viol on bass viol.
Bass viol.
Bass
Bass viol, yeah.
viol.
Yeah, and then contrabass because
String
it's
bass.
sub,
String bass.
Right.
it's got the low notes.
Used to be Doghouse.
Yeah, right.
Leo Fender called it the doghouse before
Yeah.
he made the electric.
That was even before I started.
Okay, and
Wow.
my favorite question is, when did you start playing the upright, and why?
Well, I started on electric bass first. I started probably around age 7-ish. I remember my parents got me a guitar, and I took guitar lessons. One of my very first teacher was Earl Clue here in Detroit. He used to teach at this place called M Studio on 6 Mile, and it was a black-owned music store. And that's eventually where my dad got my first bass. But at the time, I had a guitar that was from. It was on Livernois, this just like electronic store, and I got a guitar. Me and all my cousins got a guitar. We used to imitate the Jackson 5. But I had this guitar, and I had I studied with Earl Clue, but it was like 1 or 2 lessons, and then I kind of got a little more into sports, but I always played the guitar, and I ended up breaking the top 2 strings, and I was just drawn to bass and the bass lines, and I kind of figured out that it was similar, so that's when I started, and I think I actually got a bass when I was around 9.
You remember what kind it was?
It was a Korean Beatle bass. It was like a Beatle bass copy. And Dan remembers that bass. And but it was real cool. I still have it. It's at my mom's house, and it sounds really good. Still sounds very good.
Wow, that's awesome. You know, it's such a familiar story. Cutting the top 2 strings off a guitar and making it out of a bass. Because I mean, that's a lot of our first bass guitars.
Yeah.
So, when did you move to the or start playing the upright?
I started playing upright with I think when I was in 7th, 8th grade. I played in the concert band. I lived in Grand Rapids at that time, and I had a great bass teacher, Mike Grace, and he really got. When I was playing with Mike, I mean, when I was studying with Mike, I was playing electric, but he was teaching me out of the Samandel book and like a lot of classical studies, just reading music and things, and then when I moved, I played in the concert band. They had a bass. I didn't take it home with me. It was just there, and I would just kind of mess with it. And I remember my band director. He made everybody tune up because the band sounded horrible. And then when they got to me to tune up, my strings were like in minor thirds. They weren't even in fourths. So he called me out because I didn't take the bass home, but I did play electric bass. And then when I moved to Rochester, Michigan, I started studying with this man, Dan Pliskow, and I got an upright bass from my school when I was in the 7th grade, and I kept it until I was in 11th grade. And I just had the school bass, and I remember I would come take an hour lesson from 8th grade to 12th grade. I would come take an hour lesson with Dan, and 30 minutes on electric and 30 minutes on the upright, and he just truly blessed me, and put me on my path,
I still have the lesson sheets.
He did. He gave them to me, man. It's so I teach at University of Michigan actually now, and I'm astounded at how organized. I mean, now that I'm doing it, for a living, it's amazing, how organized you are and how structured, his lessons were, and. I was doing a lot of other things, a lot of other playing, and Dan was very understanding of me not being prepared for lessons. But he knew I was doing, he knew I was playing. So we struggled through a bunch of them, but it paid off, and just a shout out to great teachers that I've had, Dan being one, Mike Grace being another. I went to Dan prepared me for my audition at Indiana University, where I studied for about 3.5 years with Stuart Sankey, which was an amazing process, and that was just that process of learning from him, and also at the time Edgar Meyer, who I think is the greatest bass player in the world, or very close. If it's not him, it's very close, but he was in school there too. So, just all the people that were around to help me, get to where I'm trying to get to at least. I feel really blessed.
We think you're doing it.
That's awesome, man. Now I gotta ask this because it's hot on my mind. Which one is your favorite, electric or upright, acoustic?
Well, we were talking about the name of the bass, the actual name of it. Why I call it the bass is because I think there's that's what it is. it's the BASS, it's the BASE of the music, and I think I call it the bass because one of the original Detroit bass players, James Camerson. I didn't realize that he was playing like upright bass on a lot of those tracks. Early tracks to begin, and you can't. His style was the same. His style was really similar, and a lot of his electric bass style comes from this. Comes physically the rakes.
No distinction between the two.
Oh yeah, it's not much different.
Yeah, it's the same thing, and I think like that's not an organic thing to necessarily do. A lot of things that he did.
Yeah.
So I call it the bass because of that. I think they're if you could play anything on either one of them, and I don't really. I choose not to make the distinction because you can be funky on this, you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of the electric bass players out there learn how to walk a blues and swing. You know, a lot of cats don't know how to do that. You know, and it can't. It's hard. It's much harder for me to walk on electric bass. You know, it doesn't feel as natural. But learn how to do that. James Jamerson can certainly do that, and you know, Bob Babbitt and all of those cats. Those cats could
All of
like
Detroit
walk
bass
and
players.
help. You know, so make sure that you're able to do that. And I think classical bass players as well. You know?
Okay, so no distinction between playing vertical or horizontal with you.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
that's
obviously
interesting.
physical things that you have to do to create sound and all of that stuff. But you should be able to. I've done like on acoustic bass. I've done sessions with Dr. Dre. You know, I've done sessions with playing hip hop. I've done sessions with R&B sessions. I did a bunch of. I got right before I left LA. I started doing some sessions with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis when they needed upright. You know, because they're like fully stocked with their studio. You know, with all this electric and everything. They got bad cats to play. But I did like a Christmas record with the Isley Brothers and also one with Patti LaBelle. You know, where I played upright, but it wasn't like it wasn't jazz. You know, and I got a lot of work. Not as a result of that, but even before that, because a lot of jazz bass players, they tend to want to make the notes ring and you know, but you know, if you know a little bit about electric bass, you know, like sometimes you want, and a lot of jazz cats couldn't do that, so I got a lot of work kind of replacing you know, bass players and you know, because of the stylistic thing. So I think you know, the more stuff you could do, the better.
Yeah, I mean, you getting all the jobs. Play electric, yeah. Play upright, yeah. You know, so that's awesome.
Play
Now,
Philadelphia.
and you mostly jazz guy, but you just said you did hip hop and all that kind of stuff. Any preferences, or music is music?
Yeah, like you said, classical, yeah. Latin, yeah. You know? I always say, I tell students, say yeah to everything. Don't ever say no to anything. I rather you to, you know, get replaced. I've been replaced many times on records and tracks, but you know, I said yeah, and I learned from that experience. And then when I heard they kept that replacement, I said, oh, okay.
I guess that gives you time. If you say yeah, and you a little bit misleading, it gives you time to go study right quick, you know. And if you versed in one, I mean, I imagine you can fake your way. Fake Spanish if you have to, you know.
You can kind of fake it. You can kind of fake it a little bit, but like I know when I started doing the Tonight Show, the country music, that was really when country music exploded, like in the early '90s. So we had to play a lot of country stuff, and I remember playing with Hank Williams Jr. And it was, man, I kind of like underestimated country, how to play country music, because I liked it. I watched Hee Haw as a kid. I always dug it, you know, especially bluegrass. You know, not the kind of fake country that they call country now.
Right,
you know?
pop.
But the real country, and Hank Williams had this tune, and it had actual chord changes to it. And that tune beat me down like Turner. Because you know, I didn't know how to do the voice leading in that situation. So I had to figure out what they did, and I listened to a lot of country music, and you know, got a lot of respect. You know, I mean, I got a lot of respect for that music. You know, for actually how to do it, and it helped everything else that I do. It helped my voice leading and playing jazz. You know, because a lot of times in jazz we default to playing a lot of shit instead of just what's necessary. You know, so it helped me, you know, simplify everything that I did and play the right thing.
I have a question also. Did you find it wonderful to play different kind of music every day on the Tonight Show?
I did. I mean, I think for me, like after I left college, most of the gigs that I did were like upright oriented gigs, jazz gigs, and it would have been very easy for me to not. It would have been very easy for me just to do that,
Oh, yeah.
you know. But that put me on the spot, and I remember when Bradford got that gig, you know, that was. I asked him. I said, "Man, you know, you never really heard me play electric bass. How come? Why did you think I could do it?" And I remember he told me we did this gig in Jamaica when I was playing before we were doing the show. We did it was for I can't remember the name of the hurricane that it was in the late '80s in Jamaica. But anyway, we went down there and we didn't get paid, but we got the chance to hang out at a resort for like you know. So it was cool. And while we were there, we went to this it's a great reggae band called Third World, and they had a hit. Now that we found
Yeah, right.
I think it was OJ's song, but they remade it in reggae. So we went and hung out with those cats, and we played. They were really into Motown, so I mean that was my thing. So yeah. So I remember Bradford hearing me play like all these Motown songs with these cats, and you know, and we just did it, and I never thought that it would come back to haunt me, but it did.
Like going to college.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this now. Speaking of college, when you get out, is that when your pro career started? And how did your pro career start? Take me up to the Tonight Show. You know, when did you start getting the good gigs?
Well, I was blessed, man, to be in Detroit, and that's when I started getting the good gigs.
Mm-hmm.
When I was in high school, when I was 15, I remember Marcus Belgrave came out and did a clinic at my school, and you know, we connected, and he heard me. He asked my parents if I could do gigs, you know. And at the time, like Jonathon, I was playing basketball at high school. I couldn't do it during the school year, but like in the summer, you know, I would do gigs with Marcus, and I got a chance to meet like a lot of our Detroit legends, Ken Cox, Roy Brooks, and Donald Walden. You know, so many of those guys. You know, and Marcus was kind of, he's still like the top of the food chain. So like, you know, everybody would hear me play, and a lot of people got a chance to, for better or worse, you know, hear me play. And that's when I really, you know, started to, you know, feel I was actually making money, so I guess I was a professional musician. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I always when I got to New York and I started seeing the guys in New York, I was like, they ain't got nothing. Detroit, you know, they ain't got nothing on Detroit. You know, I didn't feel scared at all. You know,
so start throwing some names out there, some people we might be familiar with that you had the pleasure of accompanying.
Well, when I went to school, Indiana University, as I said, and then kind of somewhere in my senior year, I left. Actually, the summer after my junior year, I left there and went to Marcellus. I tried to go to school for another half year, but it didn't work out. Mm-hmm. And I played with Winton for a couple years, and I left his band and went with Terrence Blanchard and Donald Harrison's band. And then I left their band and went to Tony Williams' band for a couple years.
How was that?
That's when I learned how to be scared and really function. Because Tony is such a beast, you know. I never, you know, that's like I said, I never felt like that in awe, and be playing at the same time. I felt in awe, and like, you know, have been listening to music, but like just to hear him play was incredible. It was really incredible. So yeah, you know, so I learned so much doing that. And at the time when I was playing with Tony, he was only working like 3 months out of the year. So during that time, Bradford was playing with Sting still, and then he contacted me and said he was thinking about putting the band together, and so he did. He came out and he had like all of his work, so I did both at the same time with Tony and Bradford. Then I had to leave Tony's band, you know, because Branford. I don't know that. I still have like mixed emotions about that.
Yeah.
Even though that was a great band, you know, with Branford's band, and that took me to. He got the Tonight Show gig, you know, as the music director for that. So I went out there and I did that for.
Now, at this time, who was the Tonight Show host at this time?
We took over like right when Johnny Carson left and Jay Leno took over. So like right when all of that.
Okay. All right, that's awesome, man. I knew I recognized you from something. I'm a big fan of the Tonight Show.
Yeah.
Okay, that's awesome, man.
I used to be.
Well, so now your boy Ricky Minor got the.
No man, Ricky Minor, man.
Yeah.
I love Ricky Minor.
He got the job now.
And he was my only sub. He subbed for me when my father passed, and he also subbed for me when my daughter was born. Like that's the only time like I missed the gig, and so I love that cat. And then when I did leave, he was very cool. He got me a bunch of work. You know, I remember he called me. We did a Lou Rawls record, and he did like all of these television things, and he was really getting his building up his MD credibility, and he's a great guy.
Wow, that's awesome for him to sub for you on the show, and now it's his. You know,
Yeah.
that's a wonderful thing, man.
It is.
So, what you up to nowadays?
Well, you know, as I said, I teach at University of Michigan, and that keeps me very busy. I've let's see, I've had as many as 14 private students, but this year I have 10 students, and also run the small group program, the combo program there. So that's very busy, and along with that, play with Dinah Crawl as well, and play with my group.
What's the name of your group?
The Robert Hurst whatever. We're playing at the Virgil Carr Center on November 16th, and that time it'll be the Robert Hurst Octet. It's going to be kind of expansive, but
we'll come down there and check you out.
All right.
I noticed when you play the upright, you refuse to look at what you playing over there. Now, how do you manage?
There's nothing really to see, you know. You know, I know where my hand is, and it's Dan has dots on his bass. On my other bass, I have dots like in the higher position, and I know if I'm playing something really like where I'm starting up there, I don't mind using.
I have lights.
Oh my God!
I want you to know for my students, not for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But when you're reading music or anything, you can't look at the bass.
That's right.
Yeah, but it's nothing to see anyway. You know, it's more by the feel. It's like you know, I know that's close to a D. You know, just by the feel and the swell of the neck and like all of those things that you know can feel, and you know, I mean, if Ray Charles can play piano and I see it, you know.
That's really about it.
Okay, and another question is, action on my upright was like as high as Rick's over there. Do you prefer low action, or does that hinder the sound? I mean, what's going? I know it's a little bit more to it than just picking up a bass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure. Balance and how you play. You know, certain guys like it's been like kind of a resurgence over the last 10, 12 years of gut strings, and people even more, I guess, maybe 15, 20 years of people, you know, playing acoustic and that. And I did that too. I did that for when I played with Branford Marcellus band, you know. And then after I got tendonitis, I was like, wow, that's hard. You know, but I learned how to do it properly, and then now when I play, I use an amp, you know, because you know, there's a certain subtlety that you can't get to when you just banging out, you know, everything. So and I adjust the amp on every song. You know, I don't just like have the amp on and have that be my sound. So, and sometimes on ballads, I might not use any amp at all. So I really like run the gambit of how I do it. But I know if I have to, you know, play up tempo solo or something, you know, I don't want to have to play super hard, you know. Yes, sir.
Quick question. How long has the I noticed you two have the bass extent, your string extender. How long has that been part of the acoustic bass. That's relatively new, isn't it?
I don't know.
No,
never.
No.
Classical players been using them at least 70, 80 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But this is a particular make, Stenholm. I think he passed away recently, but you know, it's a backwards fingering. So no, it's right. So E flat, D flat.
Really?
Oh,
That's
that worked.
oh, my
Really?
But my earlier bass had a backwards fingering on it.
Okay, we'll talk about that extensively in a few seconds.
Extensively.
now, so I heard something come out of your mouth that might zoom past a lot of people. You said gut strings. What are gut strings? Chitlins or?
I guess so. Yeah. Cat chitlins. I never thought of it like that. Yeah, wow. So,
I mean, what do they mean when they say gut strings?
well, I guess the original. I don't know if there's anything that predated gut strings, but that's what the instruments from the 1500s. Where all the strings were made out of cat gut. Or
In the 50s, that's all there was to use, and there were no amps.
They primarily were using sheep
sheep.
and goats
Okay.
Really?
back in
So-
Dragon Eddie's day. And
Because they were tough.
Yeah, because they were tough.
Wow, that's amazing using animal strings. But what kind of strings are you using now?
These are metal strings. These are Parastro Ava Perazzi strings, and I went through a period. I used gut for a while, and I had learned a lot from doing it. But I forgot my bow. I don't have my bow. It's in my case. I do.
Couldn't have that happen again.
Yeah, I guess I can't really do a comparison because I don't have any gut strings. But I don't know what I'm demonstrating really, but
Well,
it's a smoother sound, and gut strings are really hard to play. Even sometimes I wish Paul Chambers was playing metal strings. Sometimes, as great as he sounds, with the bow, but he played on gut strings, and Ron Carter in the '60s. The sound that you hear probably pre-1960.
Almost 1970, really.
Yeah. Ray started playing in the '60s.
Right, could have been the late
Yeah,
60s.
Yeah. But all the sounds that you hear that are gut string.
And we played them
Thank you.
with two fingers, like real high and with two fingers. So that's why
Yeah,
it's a whole
absolutely.
different.
Okay, Bob, Robert, speaking of Paul Chambers, one of my favorite of all times because of Giant Steps.
Yeah.
Who are some of your favorite upwriters or inspirational upwriters besides the Detroit Cats? Besides the Detroit Cats, you name off. Name them again.
Yeah, well, when I coming up in Detroit, that's what everybody repped, and that when people would put me aside, they say you gotta listen to the Detroit guys: Paul Chambers, Doug Watkins, Al McKibben, Ernie Farrell, Ron Carter, Dan Pliskow, Don Mayberry, Ali Jackson, Ray McKinney, all of those guys. I didn't get a chance to hear Paul and Doug Watkins and a lot of those guys, but all of the guys I mentioned helped me out tremendously. And I can't thank that scene enough. It's been. I remember I met Ron Carter when I was about 12 years old, but I remember when I moved to New York, I had to be I was 21, and I remember I went and heard Ron at this club called Sweet Basil. He was playing with Cedar Walton and Billy Higgins, and both of those guys, rest in peace. But they used to play like 2 weeks, a couple times a year, and I remember coming to the gig, and there was Friday, so they had 3 sets. And I remember, I do Ron, but Ron wouldn't talk to me. I was like, I was trying to talk to him and say, Ron, you sound great, blah blah. He kept dissing me, and I was so depressed. So like by the time the third set came around, I went and sat in the front row, and I was just kind of depressed that he wouldn't talk to me, you know. And then I get a tap on the shoulder, and it was Ron, and he handed me a quarter, and I said, you know, what's this for, Ron? He goes, you haven't called. So like I got his number, and then that was Friday. That next Monday I called him, and I started taking lessons with him. So he was like very cool, you know.
Great story.
That's awesome. So the next time somebody hurt my feeling, I'm expecting great things. Eventually. That's awesome, man. And if we wanted to take lessons with you, how could we get in touch with you? What do we do to find you and say, hey, I want to take lessons, whether it be upright, or do you teach, do you teach upright? Do you teach electric? Tell me, how does that work?
I mean, it's pretty busy, you know, doing school, and if people can catch me, then I reward them for catching me. So it can be hard to catch me, but
tell me about it.
But try to catch me. Try to catch me, man. Yeah, I do. Like, you know, generally, I don't take full-time students, but I'll give some lessons.
So we can catch you at what's your website? You got a website? What's it?
RobertHurst.com, also bebob.com, BEBOB. Music, bebopmusic.com.
So we can reach you on your website. So how about you got a Facebook? If we just want to just hang out with you on Facebook or Twitter, or you know, the new social stuff that you got to do nowadays.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I think it's just Robert Hurst.
It is.
Right. Yeah. That's most of it. I have a Twitter too. I can't remember what it is, but it's like
We'll find it.
Okay, well we'll find you, and if we want to hear some of your current material or music from the past, where could we find that at?
You can find it on, you know, iTunes, CD Baby. My record company is Bebop Music, so I'm self-publishing a lot of things, and yeah, we'll get it to you.
Okay,
if you get it to me, I'll get it to you.
What's the name of your latest current album? I mean, There I Go album.
Yeah,
I'm from the old school too, bro.
Bob, a Palindrome. Is my latest thing. It's been out for about 6 months. It features Branford Marsalis, Jeff Watts, Robert Glasper, Marcus Belgrave, Benny Maupin, who else? Adam Rudolph. Yes, I'm very happy with it, and yes.
I wish it would be.
That's awesome, man. Well, you know me, man. I don't like keeping people. You know, I recommend you guys, you just Google this cat, find out some more. This is one of the cats to learn from. Established bass player. Look like he's still having fun lugging that big old thing around. Before I let you go, is there anything that you'd like to say in closing?
Wow. Thank everybody for watching this. Obviously, I think if you're watching this, you're probably into quality music, so let's do all we can to keep quality music alive, and everybody take care of each other, and let's make the world a better place.
Good message.
Okay. All right. And how about just, can you just play us a little something else to leave a good taste in our ears?
Okay.